Thank you. And thank you to Pecha Kucha Seattle and Town Hall and KUOW Design in Public for having us here. This has been such a great program to get to be both a part of and to watch. Boom. Interesting word. Multiple meanings. Boom, as in the region is booming, and that's better than going bust. We'd probably all agree. And then there's also boom, as in it just blew up and there's damage. Which boom are we talking about? Well, the verdict is still out. Forterra, where I work, is dedicated to helping the region grow gracefully. Not growth that's pushy and reckless and where people and places get hurt, but growth that's mindful, sustainable, and fair. How does Forterra contribute? Pie in the sky dreaming? No, we're down in the dirt. We believe sustainability largely comes down to what we do on the land. Over there on the left, will that land be a park or a strip mall? Or in the middle, will that land continue to be a farm or will it be a new subdivision? Or the land on the right, will it be luxury condos or housing a teacher or an artist can afford? These choices really, really matter for the future of this place, and context is everything. Either choice might be the right one. It's important to understand the setting, to understand who has a stake in the outcome, and together to determine the best way to use the land for the future we're all going to share. So here are some examples of good land choices. Over in eastern Washington, we conserved 50,000 acres for the Teanaway Community Forest. Up in Bothell, we saved the Wayne Golf Course so it can become a regional park. Down near Tacoma, we saved a farm so the Situ family can grow berries. And now we're looking at urban properties near transit for affordable housing. Here's the thing, we're a small organization. The only way we make progress is by having a lot of support. Financial support, sure. But just as important, the support that comes from being in a community with shared values. But our community is changing fast. What are those values now? We've all observed the flood of newcomers, many of them millennials, joining the homegrown millennials like myself. We've heard about the am-holes and the bro-grammars, but who are these people really? Are they allies? Are they adversaries? Are they indifferent? At Forterra, we learned a long time ago to rely on data, not anecdote. So we went looking for data about my millennial peers and their views. Those are people aged 20 to 35 years old. Trouble is, researchers just don't care about the millennial generation. You search millennial attitudes on Google and you only get like 454,000 results. All right, okay, so people love to put millennials under a microscope. And we looked at a lot of that research. Much of it is meaty, some of it is hilarious. Adding it up, it would seem that we millennials love our wine, and at the end of the night, we are game to take a self-driving car home, alone. But more seriously, the current research doesn't shed a lot of light on local millennials. And there's good reason to think that local millennials are different in ways from millennials across the country. Here's an example. Millennials in Seattle are a lot more likely to have a bachelor's degree. Are there other differences? We decided to do our own mind map of Puget Sound millennials. With the help of EMC, a local pollster, we launched a survey in August. It's ongoing and it's being done partly by phone and partly on the web. Over 1,000 people have taken it so far, which is pretty good. For reference, there are 220,000 millennials in King County alone. We asked some questions to help us calibrate how our millennials compare to millennials elsewhere. We asked, does the term environmentalist fit you? Our local millennials said yes, much more often. We asked, are you a patriotic person? Are you a religious person? In both cases, there was quite a difference. I'm not sure how being patriotic or religious connects to growing with grace, but clearly caring about the environment does. Here's something interesting we're seeing in our local results. And let me be clear, these are really preliminary. We're still crunching the data. There's a difference between millennials who are new to the community, the kind that still use an umbrella, for instance, versus millennials who grew up here or have lived here a decade or longer. Let me tell you about some of those differences. Back to the question about being an environmentalist. Newcomer millennials are twice as likely to say, yes, I am an environmentalist. Millennials like me who have roots in the region, not so much. What does that mean? We don't know. Have we homegrowns lost the faith? Or maybe the ethic is so deep in our bones, we don't wear the label. We're not sure, but we're trying to find out. What about the desire for more parks and green space? Newcomer millennials are more supportive, but not by much. So maybe homegrown millennials are pretty green. The takeaway clearly is that parks and green spaces matter to us. We millennials have not totally disappeared into our screens. Or maybe you find the best Pokemon at the park. Okay, so in my spare time, I like to try and read minds. Let me try it out on you. There you on the screen, or you can pretend that's you. What do you love best about the region? Just take a moment, think about it. All right, I'm getting an answer. It's drummed into my head, and it's the natural beauty, right? Am I right? Well, that's exactly what a huge majority of our millennial survey takers said too. Our survey is long. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. There are more than 100 questions, and we've only begun to unpack the data. So stay tuned through the fall and winter. There's bound to be some interesting stuff coming out. For example, do millennials own cars, or do we prefer to Uber? Do we love Airbnb, or do we think it makes housing unaffordable? You'll find out soon. I do want to leave you with one finding that we think is extremely important to the conversation about growth and who wins and who loses. We asked our 1,000-plus millennials to rank order the following criteria for new housing in the region. Should the housing fit with the neighborhood, be beautiful, be affordable, not displace current residents? Here's what our millennials said. Number 1, it should be affordable. 2, it should not displace current residents. 3, it should fit with the neighborhood. And 4, it should be beautiful. This gives me hope. I don't see heartless gentrifiers in those rankings. I see people trying to make a start in an ever more expensive city while wanting to respect the people and places that are already here. That should give us all hope for the future we have here together, that what the New York Times recently called Seattle's churning, anxious arc of growth and change will indeed bend towards equity and sustainability and not end in the wrong kind of boom. The survey we have is up for a little while longer, so if you're a millennial or you know a millennial, we want to hear from you. Thank you.